This is Now Tell Us, and I'm excited today, more than excited. Now Tell Us, we always have people come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us, educate us on a subject. And this episode is one of those special episodes. One day, I want to be a success. I want to be someone who has hundreds of thousands of subscribers on my YouTube channel, maybe millions of subscribers, and I have as many followers on Facebook. Yes, I have like several tens of thousands of followers, but I look forward to being a more successful person. Now, our guest today has been there, done that. His YouTube channel only has over 3 million subscribers. Now, this is a YouTube success story. Some of you know him, some of you don't. But guess what? We have Evan Carmichael with us at Now Tell Us. Now, let me not take one more minute. Let's go and meet him. You're ready. I'm ready. Here we go. Hi, Evan.
Let's go, Anthony. Here we go. It's happening. We're making it happen. Now tell us. I'm ready.
Here we are. It's Now Tell Us, and we welcome you to the show. It's such an honor to have you, Evan.
Thanks for having me, man. Great to be here.
Yes, I can't believe that I'm seeing you on my show.
It's an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to diving in.
Yes, and even before the show started, how excited I was. So let's dive in and just tackle a few things. I used to watch you when I was when YouTube was still a bit new, and I used to see you do the 10 rules for success by some of the great names that we have out there: Les Brown, Warren Buffett. You talk about Steve Jobs and what he does, and those things you really inspired me as I was watching them, and I thank you for taking your time and doing them.
Cool. Well, I think with everything we create, I create those videos for me because I
Mm,
want to learn from Steve Jobs and Les Brown and Warren Buffett. And now I've met some of them, right? Like Les Brown, I have his phone number, so I can text Les, but I don't have Warren Buffett's phone number, and we can't get Steve Jobs' phone number. But I make those videos for myself because I need them, because I want Steve Jobs in my ear and Warren Buffett in my ear. And luckily, enough people like you and your audience and other entrepreneurs like it too, so that I can build a business off of it. But I think at the core, we're all, why create this show? It's because you're interested in people's stories too. And when you can do something that you love that also helps inspire the people, I think that's when you hit a home run.
mm. When did you start on YouTube?
First video was 2009, and it was really just because I'm a visual learner and I like seeing things, and YouTube was the only place to make visual content. But people ask, is it too late to get started? And YouTube was a completely different game in 2009.
Hmm.
Nobody was making educational videos, nobody was making long form videos, and so it's still, YouTube now is the number one place that people go to learn. Like, people are going to YouTube to learn. It's very different than it was even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's as old as the platform is, and as long as I've been around since 2009, it's still, there's just tons of opportunities for experts to be on the platform sharing their message.
Yeah. And how was it in your early days growing the channel?
Well, I never thought I was going to be YouTube famous. Like, it wasn't a goal. That there was nobody who had millions of subscribers on YouTube, and especially
Hmm.
nobody in education. The videos I were making were for me, and then 100 people might watch it. And it's like, man, that's 100 people who watch that video, and I just thought it was just a fun way to give back and to serve, and it didn't turn into a business until many years later, and partially because YouTube evolved and changed. So the early days, there was no pressure. It was just, okay, let's just make some more content, help some more people. But I wasn't making any money from it. But things have changed a lot. Like now you can make a lot of money from YouTube videos.
And you do, I guess.
I do well. I do okay. I'm not complaining.
Yes, but I also know that you're involved in so many other ways. And what's that like for you? Because I know you do courses, you've got write books, and how do you create a business from all this that you've been doing, and then it becomes something quite remarkable.
Yeah, I think there's lots of ways to win. I think it's more what do you want to do? So
Mm,
I like helping people. So I like doing courses, but not just a course, but I like training. I like having somebody in front of me. I like not just here's this course, I never have to see you again. I like seeing the person and coaching them and guiding them. Even just before this, I was leading my community, and it actually used to be a course, but then I stopped it as a course and turned it into a membership because people are using the course, but I never got to see them. I didn't get to see the results of what they were doing. And now I
mm,
get to meet people every week and see what they're up to and how I can help. But that's not necessarily the best way to do it. It's what do you love doing? So you could sell courses, you can sell consulting, you can sell your products, you can sell your services, you can sell your books, you can sell your speaking, you can sell your hosting. Like there's so many things you could sell. What is that you actually want to sell that you love doing? But I think it's really important that when you are getting started, that you actually think about how can you turn this into a business? How
mhm,
can you so that you're not just wasting time? Like I could have grown a lot faster in the early days of my channel too if I thought about it like a business. And there were less opportunities, there are less ways to do it compared to right now.
mhm,
But a lot of people just, oh, I just want to be famous. Okay, but how are we going to make money doing the thing that you're creating? Because if it's just a hobby, most people will probably quit. If you
mm.
can't figure out a way to make money, most people will probably quit on the thing. And so it's like, how do you have your purpose and your mission, and I love it. Yes. And inside of that, how can we start to make money as soon as possible so that you can stay dedicated to it?
And what would that be for Anthony with the podcast that he has?
Great. I love it. Let's workshop Anthony. What do you sell? Like what's the main thing that you want to sell?
Uh, like right now, I have my books. I don't have many other things. Maybe I could come up with many other things, but now I have my books, and I am a speaker. So, but I haven't been speaking quite much. I am in Europe. Haven't been much further on out.
Cool. So anything that you want to sell should be a series on your channel. So if you want to sell books, then the best thing to do is think about people who can recommend your books and have them as a guest on your show.
Mm,
So we're using the show for business development. So
mm-hmm,
who can push a lot of books? And it might be entrepreneurs, it might be other influencers, it might be people from the book community, it might be book agents, anybody in the book world, people with a big list that they might send it to, people who run book clubs, right? How do you have them as guests on your show? And we almost don't even care how well the video does in terms of metrics on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. It's for you to build a relationship so that they get to know you, love you, trust you, and your book becomes the next thing that they use in their book club, right?
mm-hmm,
Like if you made a list of the top 500 book clubs in America and then reached out to all of those leaders who run the book clubs and have them
mm-hmm,
as guests on your show,
mm-hmm.
you're going to get a lot more people reading your book.
Oh, okay.
Just being intentional. Um, that's for books. If you want to sell speaking, then I need to see you speak. Because if you're doing an interview like this, which is great, I'm not going to hire you to be a speaker off of an interview you're doing with somebody else because you're great at asking questions, but I don't know if you're a good speaker or not.
Mm-hmm,
So if you want to get hired to do more speaking gigs, and my first paid international keynote was in 2014 in Malaysia, where it was a closing keynote. And the guy hired me from my YouTube videos. He saw me in the YouTube videos and said, "Hey, I want you to come and speak at my event in Malaysia around social media."
okay.
And that was 2014. Like opportunities are only greater now. It was really weird to hire somebody off of YouTube in 2014. Now everybody's doing it. But I
Mm,
won't hire you to speak if all I see you doing is asking questions. So if I'm giving advice to Anthony, I always start with, what do you want to sell? Like, what's our business? What are we trying to have an impact with? So we have our book strategy. And then if you want to sell speaking, then you should have a weekly show of you speaking.
Could asking questions be turned into a business?
Possibly, it's a little bit harder. But at every event, there's two opportunities. At major events, they usually have somebody who's going to host the event. Who's the host of the event? Every corporate event, usually they suck at doing it themselves. The corporations, like the CEO doesn't do a good job. They don't have anybody internal, and they bring in outside MCs to host the event. Could you host a 3-day conference where you are the guy saying, here's what's going to come up next, and let's get everybody excited, and here's why, and read the person's bio, and you are the host of the show, right? You look at the Oscars, and whoever the host is, like Anthony is now the host of this show. That is a lucrative business. The other part of it is there's a lot of speakers who actually are not great speakers, and so they only come on a show, or they only do an event when somebody's going to interview them. If you look at a Richard Branson, for example, Richard Branson almost never does a solo speaking gig. He's on stage with somebody else who's asking questions to pull it out of him, and that's the speech.
Okay.
So there are people like that where they don't want to speak, but the company wants to hire that person to come in, so they need somebody to interview them on a fireside chat. That could be you, right? So yes, you can turn that into a business, but again, it all starts with like, what do you want to sell? And then if that's what you want to sell, then we need to see more interview content. We need to see you on stage interviewing people, because then when people see it, they're like, oh, we should have Anthony come and speak at our next thing, or maybe he could host or MC or interview our keynote speaker at our next event too.
Now, Evan definitely has multiple sources of income. And if I can ask you, which could be your most favorable one or most profitable one for you?
Wow, I don't know. Most favorite would probably be my programs where I'm helping people. Like what I just got through, we have a program called Brandlytics where I'm helping YouTubers get their channels off the ground. And they're entrepreneurs, education. And today we looked at a channel. We have people who are just getting started, and we have people who they have, 1 million plus subscribers. And today was a woman who's just getting started. Just 49 subscribers on her channel. And we spend the first half looking at her channel, and I break it down and said, hey, if I was in charge of your channel, here's what I would do. And then the second half is rapid fire. People have questions in the group, and like, how can I help you with your channel right now? That's my favorite, because we all want to feel like we're doing something that matters and is meaningful and touching somebody else's life. And so I get the direct feedback from people saying, hey, this helped me. Is it the most profitable? Probably not. Anything at scale is going to be a lot more profitable, but it's harder to see the results of it. If somebody watches a video or somebody buys a book, somebody buys your book and they love it, you don't know most of the people who bought your book.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know the impact that you've had on people unless they write in and they tell you, or they leave a comment, or they send an email, or they DM you on Instagram or something to say, Anthony, your book changed my life. But there's so many people who's like, you've changed their lives with your book, and you have no idea. And so that might be more, it's at scale, it might be more profitable, but for me, it's less fun, or less, I don't have as much love for it, because I don't get to feel the interaction.
Wow, cool. Talking of books, you've written several. How many?
4. I think we got 4. Two published and 2 on my own.
Maybe, okay, maybe you've lost
5?
Maybe you've lost count. Yeah, I can't get.
So look at Amazon. You can see how many books I have.
Yes, and I want to get to that place where I forget how many books I've written.
Well, you just keep writing.
Yeah.
You have to serve your one word momentum. Okay, so 3 that were published, and then 1 or 2 that were self-published.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Your latest one is Momentum. Is that published or not published?
So I started my own publishing house.
Yeah,
I actually met an entrepreneur. I loved her, and I invested in her publishing house. And
yeah.
so this is with that publishing house. So is that self? I don't know. It's a publishing company, but I own it. So is that self published? I don't know.
Wonderful. Yeah, our time is almost over. So, what thing would you like to leave us with in order for us to be a success, either on YouTube or any other place?
The most important thing I think is just to believe. You know, when I've studied more successful people than most people, and just the work that I do. And Anthony at the beginning talked about Les Brown and Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs. Like, what makes these people so special? They're not that much, better than you or me. They just believed in themselves. They believe that where they were born does not need to be the same place that they end up. Um, they believed that they could create something special. They believed in themselves to get started. They believed in themselves to follow through. They believed in the work that they're doing. And so there's that old quote of whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And I think that's the missing ingredient for most people. They just don't believe in themselves enough to take momentum, to the name of the book, to start taking action on your dreams. So believe, 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 and let's change. Let's change where you are this year.
Wow, thank you very much, Evan, for that. We really appreciate that. Everything that you've done and said here, we thank you. And people, I know people would want to catch up with you. How do they get to connect with you?
I mean, if you want the book, you can just go to Amazon. That's the easiest spot. Or social media. I'm usually there posting, pretty active. So I'm Evan Carmichael, wherever you're going.
So Evan Carmichael, wherever you go, you just go to YouTube and type that name, Evan Carmichael. You get him. Type Evan Carmichael. His website is the same, and connect with him. Get to enjoy a bit more of his presence. Thank you very much, Evan. We thank you, and we wish you all the best. Keep believing.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
man.
thank you too, and all the best. This has been Now Tell Us. I've been your host, Anthony Morore, and together with our guest today, Evan Carmichael, we are saying bye for now.